in the House bill is being a legitimate American citizen a requirement for participation in the public option.
Nope.
Nowhere.
Nowhere.
The entire bill, nowhere. And we know that if something isn't specifically banned in a bill, it will be allowed.
That's right.
And don't forget, the Democrats voted down a Republican amendment that would have made the public option available only to Americans.
That's right.
They voted it down, right?
Yes, yes.
And, I think that you all know that actions speak louder than words.
Yep. Woo!
Now we'll get to the big truth that no one's talking about. Now let's put on our tinfoil helmets and imagine that the current health reform plan isn't a stealth plan to implement single payer, and that the public option, which is really a government option, will simply provide competition for those greedy, vampirical insurance companies. Let's take a deep gulp of Kool-Aid and say that yes, the administration is right, the plan will be deficit neutral. And let's nod our heads in robot-like approval and say that illegal immigrants will not be covered under this plan. Well, guess what? Even if all this and the other false claims of the proponents of this bill are true, we are duty-bound to fight it with every fiber of our being anyway.
That's right, buddy.
Why? You know why. Because it stands in direct contradiction to the Constitution, a most precious document that helps set this nation on a course for greatness that no other polity has even come close to matching. Considering that the authors of the Constitution had just freed themselves from a domineering tyranny, it's no surprise that much of the Constitution is devoted specifically to limiting the powers of the new federal government. And that document prohibits the federal government from embarking on the path defined in this health care bill. Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution defines what our federal government can do. These powers include borrowing money, I wish they hadn't put that in, but regulating trade with other nations, rules about citizenship, raising an army and navy for defense, setting up federal courts. Well, there are a few more, but none of them say the federal government is responsible for providing health care insurance to individual citizens. And no can I say health care insurance on purpose. The supporters of this plan say that all the people in other countries, they're covered. But, well, we'll tell you, they neglect to point out that people that are covered frequently aren't cared for. In short, coverage never equals care, even under the best intentioned plans.
Hey, say that again. That's a good line. Say it again.
I'll say it again. I said insurance on purpose because the supporters of this plan, they claim that people in countries like Canada and UK are all covered. But they neglect to point out that they frequently aren't cared for. In short, coverage never equals care, even under the best intentioned plans. Or to sell health care insurance. That's important. Another thing that's important to note, because if you want to believe that the competition mantra that we're hearing from the left nowadays is being spewed by the proponents of this bill, then the government will be competing against who? Private industry. That means they'll be selling health insurance in competition with private industry. So our own government, fueled by the theft and redistribution of your tax dollars, will be competing against your neighbor and my neighbor. Business people trying to compete in a marketplace where profit must be made in order to survive. Allowing the government to compete against private companies is the financial equivalent of turning a standing army on its own people.
That's right.
American against American.
Woo!
We've seen this in over 130 years.
Promoting class welfare is what he's doing.
Right.
Warfare.
It's not even a fair fight because the government doesn't have to make a profit. They'll just print some more funny money or sell bonds and charge. In the end, even this health care bill didn't cost a dime in additional taxes. And we know it costs billions, trillions, or gazillions of dimes. The fact that it's affordable doesn't make it acceptable. I can make a sandwich on dog droppings and sell it for 15 cents, but I don't think you'd want to choke it down.
No!
And we're not going to choke down this crap sandwich either.
No!
on, folks. Thank you for your patience. I've already seen some liberal pundits wailing that we can't use the socialist card and calling out this bill for what it is. That we can't object to it being unconstitutional because we already have unconstitutional agencies in place. Well, I have a message for them. We will not permit a new wrong to be carried out just because similar wrongs were carried out in the past. We need to start working now to set our government back into that tiny little corner our founders envisioned as its home. Out of our lives unless absolutely necessary for the common defense and good. I could go on and on about how we've slowly incorporated collectivist principles like the progressive income tax in our society, or how this federal money grab violates the 10th Amendment's rights of the states to deal with the welfare of its own citizens.
Yes!
Instead, I will close with a quote from one of the brightest lights of the Founding Fathers, James Madison. Man, he must have had a crystal ball when he wrote this. It will be of little avail to the people that the laws are made by men of their own choice if the laws be so voluminous that they cannot be read, or so incoherent they cannot be understood. My friends, I think after hearing my meager thoughts on this issue that you probably understand what is at stake more than our senator. The one whose picture should be on a milk carton with the caption, "Have you seen me?"
Yeah.
If this healthcare reform passes, I'm tempted to go ahead and ask for my morphine drip ahead of time while I can still enjoy it. But on second thought, I'd rather die on my feet, free, than live as a slave on my knees.